Hello, Governors. Today we're diving into one of the most iconic commanders in Rise of Kingdoms. That is none other than Sun Tzu. He dominates in KVK1 and is arguably the best commander in the early game. Stick around because in this video I'll be sharing you how to maximize his power in KVK1 and how to dominate over your enemies. You might be asking the question, why Sun Tzu? Why is this guy such a big deal? And I'll tell you why. Firstly, he's incredibly free-to-play friendly. If you choose the starting civilization China, you get him for free at the start of the game. However, if you have any other civilization, you'll have to get him through the tavern or expedition. Secondly, his skills scale incredibly well in KVK1, so you can get insane value from Sun Tzu for a long time. And thirdly, and most importantly, his AoE damage, or area of effect damage, is brutal, especially in the open field and garrison. Sun Tzu is a great foundation for any army, which I recommend. Now we can dive into Sun Tzu's skills. His first skill, called Art of War, with a rage requirement of 1,000, without expertise, deals direct damage to up to 3 targets at a time, with a damage factor of 450. After a second, troops hit by that damage factor of 450 will now take more damage factor of 150. For every troop hit by that skill, this commander gains 50 rage, which is great for cycling another Art of War, which can deal even more damage to the enemy. His second skill, Philosophy of War, is great for city defense. 7% less all damage from all sources is great as a garrison, and even better as an epic. His third skill, Master Strategist, benefits his infantry in the open field, and a bit in the garrison as well. 10% less all damage, and 10% more infantry health. Health is the best stat in the game as it affects your hospital, as the more your troops can take before they're put to the hospital will save you resources and speed ups. His fourth skill, and arguably his best, Ever-Changing Tactics, grants him 20% more skill damage. What this means is Sun Tzu's Art of War skill, which deals damage factor of 150 and 450, will now get boosted by 20% on his fourth skill. This is because the damage Sun Tzu is dealing is called skill damage, which enhances the damage he deals. Now let's talk about his expertise. This only comes into effect when you have all other skills on Sun Tzu maxed. His expertise now deals damage up to 5 enemy troops and a fan. From the original 3 targets, Sun Tzu now deals a damage factor of 800 from his original damage factor of 450, and from that 150 after 1 second, he now deals 200 damage factor. And still, every troop hit by this skill will now give Sun Tzu 50 rage. So, a massive boost in damage from Sun Tzu's expertise. Now let's talk about the best talent tree configurations for Sun Tzu. For an infantry open field march, I recommend getting Feral Nature at the end of the skill tree. Do not get Latent Power or Naked Rage. For the infantry tree, I recommend getting Iron Spear, Fleet of Foot, Undying Fury, Double-Headed Axe, Call to Pack, and Strong of Body. If you happen to have Ethelfled, Expertise by KVK1, I recommend getting Snare of Thorns with the points you have left. If you do not have Ethelfled Expertise by then, I recommend putting the final 3 points into 1 March Speed Infantry and 2 Infantry Health. Now, for a garrison talent tree, I recommend using Know Thy Enemy at the end of the garrison tree. While in the garrison tree, get Impenetrable Fortress and Impregnable. This will give you less damage from the enemy. Also get Nowhere to Turn to help generate rage. And then, in the skill tree, like before in the infantry tree, get Feral Nature at the very end. Once again, do not get Latent Power or Naked Rage. With your final 3 points, I recommend putting 2 into all unit defense and 1 talent point into all troop health. This will maximize your talent points. Now let's talk about how do you use your Sun Tzu. And the answer is very delicately. In open field murder balls, you want to keep your Sun Tzu right in the center where it can't get picked off. And when those murder balls meet, you want to usually try to go after targets that are either inside your ball or go after targets that are on the perimeter of the enemy's ball, allowing your AoE damage to hit a number of troops. There are a couple things, however, that you must watch out for with your Sun Tzu march. One of which is cav marches, especially Minamoto Cao Cao. These double single target damage marches can tear your glass cannon to shreds if you're not careful. And with that note, try to avoid 1v1s. Now for events, your Sun Tzu Isong March does a great job in events like Sunset Canyon and Expedition, allowing you to hit a number of targets, like before in KVK, with your high amount of skill damage that you will deal to multiple targets. Sun Tzu is a very special commander. He's a commander who will go out of style after a very, very long time. And even then, he still has a bit of relevance. He's free, powerful, and very destructive. You will have a lot of memories with this guy during KVK that you'll never forget. And on that note, I'd like to wish you all a very good time playing Rise of Kingdoms. See you next time.